It's so weird. Everything looks different to me right now. How did you do that?
This week, I have been meditating like you wouldn't believe. Going to bed and then listening to silence 3, 4 hours and going into a deep, deep sleep. But before I do, seeing how all of these little things that we're thinking of are lies. Like we have so many teeny little suitcases in our heads, so many little suitcases in our body. The suitcase of what does somebody think about me. What's weird is there is no somebody. There's your little avatar of somebody, right? I've talked about that before. But your fear of everyone hating you for you being you, well, those are just little avatars, and you're scared of little parts of you that you're just not looking at that are really just little illusions. So I'll just be meditating and I'll see these things that are obvious suitcases, and I can't do anything with them. I just keep seeing them. And the silence starts to work like a surgeon. It goes, I'm going to go in there and remove this suitcase. I'm going to remove this suitcase. And sometimes it goes, I'm not going to remove the suitcase. I'm going to make you sit with the pain of that suitcase for 2 hours because I got so many other lessons in there. So it's so big to remember that when you're in pain, when you're in fear, when you're in your small story, that there is so much use for that pain too. That doesn't mean we try to stay in pain or aim for the pain, but if you sit and let it do what it needs to do, it's always going to take it out eventually. But first it goes, I want you to see not only this thing, but this thing that was under it. Here's the part of you that feels abandoned by your friend, but here's your shit with your mom that's under it. Here's the part of you that you think is your mom, but here's your shit that you have against yourself under it. So before I get rid of this pain, I need you to hold on to it because I got a million lessons under that. So when I meditate, I don't do anything with it. I don't figure out. I let it do what it needs to do. Because every suitcase has a story. And once it's shown you the stories that are under that suitcase, then it tosses it. But there's so much use in all the pain that you're feeling. But what we got to do with it is not just feel the pain and then ignore it with a distraction, but feel the pain and stay with it. That is the most courageous thing a person can do. Stay with the pain, the shame, the guilt by looking at it, because you will discover it's not you. Remember, everything that comes up isn't you. Everything that comes up and out isn't you. It's on its way out. But it's going, I got this, I got this, I got this. And if you can start to see all of those old stories, all of those limitations, if you can start to see all of those fears, then you start to connect to more of a moment that can see bigger than the small tunnel that you were looking through. Then you raise your awareness, and your awareness starts to see so many other things. Your awareness starts to see possibilities and problems at the same time. But what's amazing is that you can see both at the same time. Then it starts to see what just like the silence is saying, but then it starts to see the fear, and then it starts to see the possibilities and what's under the fear. And at one point you're looking at 50 things at the same time. So you just sit there and it's just like the little dangling thing, this, and then you go, what the hell am I if I can see 50 different things at the same time? And then it sees that, and then you're at 51. And then you're just sitting there with all of this awareness. And as you stay there, some of it starts to leave. And then it goes, oh, here's another possibility. Here's a channel changer. Here's joy. Here's the next step. Here's freedom. Here's forgiveness. Here's the end of that story. Here's the new channel. Then it goes, keep going. And then something shows up and goes, I think we've done well here. We can go back. Don't do it. Because then you're going to go back and you go, I'm the old story. Go back to the familiarity of the suitcases. Go back to the comfort of my problems. If you stay in it, that voice will suddenly be something you see that said, go back. What if we go forward? What if we stay with it? Holy shit. Then you're just dancing suitcases all over the place. And the suitcases start to move from painful old stories to birth's possibilities, receptivity, higher alignment. And then Here's what's nuts. The outside matches it. You start to become possibilities, and then all of a sudden, everything you've ever wanted just comes to you. I'm not kidding. It does, because you're receptive to it. See, if you have a suitcase in you, life will match that. It will give you the match. It'll give you someone else with a suitcase. It'll give you the story of lack that suitcase holds. Everything you want includes a story of lack, right? I really want that person to like me. There's anxiety if they don't. I really want more money. There's anxiety of me going broke. If you can get to a place where you transcend the anxiety of it by seeing all of the suitcases that are deep in your nervous system, right? Then you are in a space that's deeper and more powerful and more centered. Now you're in your power. Now you're in your, then the world matches that. You see through things that are manipulating you. You see through things that don't align. And you're not scared to say goodbye to that because you're now on the new channel. See, when you're scared to let go of something, you're still on the channel of the thing. Wait till you're on another channel. Then it's like, this is just in the way, right? There's not even a letting go anymore. It's just going to fall off. It doesn't make sense. It's not on the same vibration. You're a sixth grader and everything around you second grade, it's going to just fall off. You're unfamiliar to it. It doesn't make sense. So that's what deep meditation does. I did it for quite a bit last night, quite a bit the night before, quite a bit this morning. Oh, it's taking your soul to the gym. And then the world starts mirroring it. Someone wrote, money for your business will appear. Yeah, and not only that, but it'll probably change your business. It'll probably actually change what you're doing so that your receptivity for money is much bigger. It might go, actually, this part of your business doesn't align. Like, does this part of your business shift the planet truly, or is this your egoic desire to be seen masked as shifting the planet, right? People, oh, my business isn't bringing in money. Well, what is out of alignment with it? What are you, is there a, I really want to get money component because then dad'll love me? Is there a story under that feels I need to get money? Like the second you want it, you're feeling the anxiety. Is that lingering in your business? Then you have two conflicting needs of the business, right? When you release the need to make money, so much more can come in. Right? But it can't if you're sitting here working from that place of fear, because you're staying on the older channel that's needy and you're not in the expansion of the universe through you. See, the universe wants to expand through you. Can you receive that for a minute? The universe wants to expand the planet through you. Can you receive that? Like, you are here to be a space for life and the moment to come through you. The first thing it's going to do is clear out everything you're not. So it's going to suck because you think that's you. So it's going, we don't need this old story. This is your limitation. This is blah, blah, blah. This is crazy. And it's going to suck. It's going to feel like anxiety. But if you keep staying in the place of listening to it, it doesn't feel like anxiety after a while. It's going to be bored. It's like a juice fast or a water fast. After a while, you go from feeling anxiety and crazy to good. It's paying for itself. It makes you healthier. It's crazy how much everything changes when you listen to that silence, because that silence is trying to clear out the idea that there is a you in the first place. Can you handle that? Do you think that there's a you? What is you? What is that? What do you think you are? What is that? When I say I'm Kyle Cease, what do I have to attach to that? Okay, cool. The only thing I am is I am, right? But if I say who I am is someone who, then I can't change in that area, at least. What do you think you are? Who's fighting to stay alive? And how come if that part leaves and you cry it out, how could you still exist? Can I go this deep with you? How could you still exist if you can cry out something? Think about this. At one point, think about something that you see a child cry about. And as time goes on, they're over it, right? Because they have new information. But they thought who they were might be that toy. Who they were, I watch Vivi will watch a clip on YouTube or something like that of a little cartoon, and we stop it and she'll scream and cry, right? So she's under the illusion that who she is someone who watches that. Well, then it stops, she cries that out, okay? But obviously when Vivi turns 20, she'll see that and see that's a lie. Well, everything you're stressed about, one day you will look back and laugh that this is not true. This thing that you're worried about is also not true. And you will look back 20 years from now, or maybe even after you die, and go, that thing seemed so real to me. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to feel through it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be crying. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. The only way you get out of it is through it, right? By being with it, right? It's funny because you could show or give a child the choice between a piece of candy or $100 bill, and they're going to probably pick the candy. You give a young enough kid that. Now, they don't understand that a $100 bill can buy a lot more of those candies. But the factor is they don't have enough information. And when you meditate, it gives you information and rearranges your priorities. It gives you new information and says, that thing you were chasing is a lie. There's better things. There's higher alignment things. Instead of chasing that job, chase you, and a better job is coming. The longer you listen, it goes, yeah, you thought for sure that that thing over there would be the source you have. You don't have enough information, and all of your pain is not enough information. Can you take that in? All of your pain is the illusion that you were supposed to get the candy, not the money, right? So this is an offer for you to feel through everything. All pain is that. Now, that doesn't mean that the pain shouldn't be felt. Like if you see a child cry because they don't have the candy, we don't go, oh, that's a lie. Their nervous system still has to experience that. So crying through it is a legit thing, right? It's not like they just have the money and learn it, and their body still, their nervous system still has only experienced candy as being better than money. So it has to shift that. It has to experience that feeling. So the pain that's coming up, even though it's a lie, still needs to be felt. And that doesn't mean we chase pain or try to get in pain. But when you're transforming and you grow, sometimes pain will just naturally show up. And it has information inside it. Alia says, do you mean we should all take the candy? No. I mean, we should actually learn which one's truer, right? So a child would select the candy over the money because they don't have enough information. Well, if the child could then eventually get awareness as you guys are, they'd actually get information and choose the money differently, right? So what I find is meditation is more information. For me, listening to silence realigns everything, and it does what I was talking about before, moves you into the universal person out of the societal person. The universal person. A person that moves in alignment and harmony much more with the universe and nature than society. And you can tell which one you are based on what one you're more involved with. Are you studying how trees work? Are you listening to how people work? If you're going on Facebook 1,000 times a day, you're more looking at and feeling through the societal person. If you're listening to the trees and seeing how they work, that's an offer for how humans work. Blooming, giving a gift, and experiencing and being okay with death. All of that is involved, right? So Celeste says, I'm having a hard time convincing people to meditate. That's what a societal person would say. No tree is convincing people to eat their apples, right? Trees, even if other trees are getting cut down, keep giving their gift. In fact, while shit's happening in the world, the first thing we need is a tree that's giving their power, their truth, their apples, right? So there's information that you might not be seeing if you're trying to convince people to meditate, right? That's the societal thing. The societal says outside should change for my happiness, right? If you feel triggered that other people aren't meditating, that is a sign that you want to meditate. That's a butterfly trying to talk caterpillars into flying. And caterpillars might be like, I don't have wings. I don't give a shit. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about because you have wings. So my offer to you, to the person that said that, they're having the hardest time. Celeste says, I'm having a hard time getting other people to meditate. Whatever you're having a hard time with, go inside. That's trying to be transcended, right? Go inside. We got to go past that level that wants to bring up, right? Someone said, what if we're a coach and that's what we do? All the more reason. There's a lot of coaches out there trying to convince other people to do stuff. And there's a few coaches that are trying to do the work. And those ones I find to be more effective. The Eckhart Tolles of the world are not hooked on if other people change. And weirdly, they create more change. Eckhart Tolle, Wayne Dyer are not sitting there going, I got to get people to shift. They're going, I got to be the greatest tree I can be, and other trees interested in it will join. Right? If they're stuck on trying to get other people to get it, they're already staying at the level of the other people when they have something deeper inside of them. But what if we are holding the space? What if we are holding the space to meditate and do it ourselves? I'm not sure I understood the question. So, but you're awesome, Dottie, but I don't know that I understand the question. So this is our growth. If every time you thought, why doesn't the world know? And then instead of trying to get them to do it or posting about it, you did it, you would shift, because every time you get triggered that other people don't get, that's only because you don't get or you're not doing. You get it, but aren't doing it, right? When you were in third grade going to fourth grade, you're not trying to get everyone else to go from third grade to fourth grade. There's just fourth graders there, right? So this is our shift. This is your shift. I dare you every time you want. Paulina says, so is it okay to divorce yourself from caterpillars, or are we to stay and be examples? I would say it's totally your call, because at some levels of consciousness, we go, I need to get away from energy that's keeping me down. But eventually you'll start to realize it's your resistance to yourself that can cause that energy to even keep you down, right? Eventually the work is between you, and someone that's in a different alignment can be right next to you, and that's totally fine. Because we're only triggered at the level we're not living in that fullness ourselves. I mean, in a way, us thinking we need to get away from other people is like someone saying, I can't lift 300 pounds if someone who can only lift 110 pounds is next to me, which isn't true. When you go to the gym, if whatever your max is your max. But imagine if you were never lifting weights, trying to talk everyone else into lifting weights. You'd eventually never lift weights, and you'd lose muscle and join them at theirs, right? So we are here to make it be our game with our game, right? Our connection to ourselves. And Paulina, by the way, I have something to tell you. I sent your book to a publisher, and they're asking me questions about it. They're interested. So I'm going to talk to you about that very soon too. So yeah, so I forgot I haven't told you that, but I'm just going to tell you right there. So congratulations, Paulina. There's follow-up to discuss. So what else? So why don't I go to some questions? Let's go to your guys' questions, because yeah, Paulina, I'll talk to you after this. But it's good. They liked it. So Paulina's an amazing author of kids' books that are actually for adults. And so it's really cool. It's like an edge about living in the moment, but it's a cartoon kids book that's really simple and quick, but it's good. So we'll talk about it more. But Paulina, we got good stuff. So let's go to questions. Denice asks, hi, Kyle. I feel stuck trying to survive. So before I even go farther on that, I just want to look at that vibration. I want all of us to think of what it feels like if you're aiming for surviving. Just feel what it feels like to aim for surviving. I just want to survive. Why? When you can aim for anything, right? When you can aim for anything, you have the power to create the consciousness of anything in the world. Why would we want to just aim for surviving? You actually have to overcome pain to survive, right? So every time we aim for surviving, we have to just barely stay alive, which means unconsciously we have to beat ourselves up, right? If you're aiming for surviving, what do you think of surviving? I overcame this plane crash. I barely made it out. Were there any survivors? Yes, they overcame it. That's awesome. I just want to offer, instead of us just trying to survive and get by and pay the rent, what if you just change your consciousness to aiming for thriving? For thriving. What would it be like to aim for thriving? Like, even if I was in debt, I would never want to aim for surviving. I want to aim for the highest me. And I don't just mean thriving financially. I mean me thriving as a human being, right? Me thriving at my highest me receiving at the highest level, me connecting to the best me releasing my suitcases that don't align, me feeling joy. So I just want to change the channel, because I would imagine, Denice, if there is a trying to survive, there might be some unconscious belief system in your body that says life is about surviving, right? There might be something that says life is about just barely getting by. It might be a teaching. It might be unconsciously what we picked up from our parents. It might be that our parents were thriving and we're rejecting it. It might, I don't know what it is, and we'll find out. But I just want to end the desire to survive and instead become the freest, most empowering, enabled you. What would it be like to receive the universe on the highest level and give to the planet beyond what you've ever seen and receive on a level you've never seen? Absolutely. Aaron says, I think we've all been there. This is not me saying I don't understand or I'm not being a space for that. I hope that makes sense. I'm just offering a new way of seeing it. What I want to offer all of you, if you were starting this second and you had no past, what would the greatest you look like? I want to ask all of you that. How would you move? Paulina, our featured guest, said, my friend just texted me with, I need help to survive right now. As I said that. Crazy. It's crazy. He can't believe it either. So what is you at the ultimate you?
I'm listening deeply.
I know, but Dan's listening deeply. I just put the camera on you sleeping. But he was listening deeply. Yes. So we are. Eckhart Tolle says, die to each past moment. David Bowie has an amazing song called Quicksand. And the song goes, don't believe in yourself. Don't deceive with belief. Knowledge comes with death's release. Oh. David Bowie has like 3 voices. This voice is very deep. And then he has this voice, Ziggy playing guitar. And then he also has Elmer Fudd, right? When after he goes, let's dance, put on your wed shoes. So there's 3 David Bowie voices. But my point is, one of the things he says is don't believe in yourself. Don't deceive with belief. Belief is a deception. Knowledge comes with death's release, which is what I said while Andrea Heath says, I'm dying. So dying, your old story dying, not you dying, but your old story dying. When you feel depressed, you know what that is? That's your old story trying to die. Now, when you try to stop depression, that's you joining the depression and saying who I am is the depression versus the space looking at the depression. You feeling off, you feeling depressed. That's your old story trying to fall off of your chest. But if you think I am the old story, then you go down with it. So it's something that's trying to survive that wants to die, Denice. Something that you were is trying to die. And it's just, what is it called when you're paddling water, just treading water? I don't, it's funny when the word I'm looking for is not, like you'd think it's a profound word, like something you'd read on Balderdash, but instead it's just like, oh, yeah, hi, that's the word I'm looking for, hello. So dog paddling, yes. So when you're just treading water, that's the old story trying to stay alive. What you are is thriving energy. There's no tree trying to stay alive, right? Because it's not attached to I was yesterday's story, right? What the hell are you? What you are only goes up. Can you take that? Is everyone hearing that? What you are only goes up. What you're not is trying to fall off. Can we go this deep on this Wednesday night? So Denice, I feel stuck trying to survive. Yesterday's story is trying to survive. What you are only expands. What you are only expands. Everything that's feeling off is trying to fall off of you. And if you become the moment, you become a space with the universe vibration to let what you're not fall off. Now, if you think you're the old story, you say, I'm depressed, I'm falling apart, you're going down with the story because you're identified as the old story versus the now. So you're just this moment. You actually are. If you paid attention during last week's meditation, which if you haven't done it, check it out. That meditation is here. Do it every day. You will start to see all you are as an up vibration. All you are is a space that expands beyond the story of you. And always things in your life are trying to fall off. Relationships don't work. Things that are, and it doesn't mean necessarily, I've said this before, but if a relationship is falling apart, that doesn't mean that the two people need to fall apart and go away. That just means what we were yesterday is trying to fall apart. And if both people have awareness, this is going to be easy. See, Dan and Carrie have awareness. So anytime we're working through something, we just go, oh, the method of how we were yesterday no longer serves us. So it's trying to die. So we might feel moments of pain and agony and stuff. And then we go, what no longer serves us? And it was something that totally served us last year, but now doesn't. Because life is so cool that it doesn't want you to get attached to a way. It wants those ways to fall off so you can see that you're the constant space that's always trying to go up. So you don't get attached to a ladder rung and say, this is what I am. You're the whole ladder and it goes on forever and ever and ever, right? So the survivor is something that maybe, Denice, I haven't got past the first sentence yet, but Denice, the survivor is something that you might have needed before you had today's awareness. And it was something that was growth for you in the past. Okay, so a surviving part of you might have served a purpose in the past, but now we're looking for something new to birth here. Something's trying to birth. And for that to happen, we get rid of the survivor and move into the thriver, the joy, the meditator, the collagorer. When people say, I can't let go of that, I don't know what I do, I'd be like, how many hours a day are you meditating? None. Most people say never. Right. So what would happen if we replaced 8 hours a day of surviving with 8 hours a day of meditating? You don't think we'll come up with the same income as before? You don't think it will exponentially happen when you start to clear out so much stuff that no longer serves you? No part of me is saying, so quit the job and do that. But I'm saying when you create a space of vibrational awareness that moves into this higher space, then those old stories no longer serve you. That's what causes surviving. Trying to keep the whole world happy, trying to keep everyone around you happy, because you have all these avatars and suitcases inside of you of other people you're worried that you'll disappoint. They're inside of you. Everyone you're worried you'll disappoint is inside of you. How badass is that to realize? It's not the people outside. It's the avatars of the people outside that are inside you're worried you'll disappoint. When you are free, you won't end up disappointing anyone. Right? Denise says, it's so crazy because Kyle Cease keeps saying my name. I didn't write the question, but when he says Denise, the thing that follows totally applies to me. That's awesome. All right. Well, let's keep going, Denise. And Denise, I'm working long hours, 7 days a week, and still in overdraft trying to pay my bills. So maybe that's not working. Remember, the book that I wrote is called Why Chasing Money is Stopping You from Receiving It. So many people say to me, Kyle, it's not that easy to make money. I'm working my ass off and I barely can survive. And I'm thinking, exactly. It's not working. You said thriving feels like a different universe. So maybe it's time to go to a different universe. You just said it. It's a universe that's still available, even if you've never been in it. Are you hearing me on that? Thriving feels like a different universe. That doesn't mean you can't live there. But there's no question it's time for a different universe, because the universe you've lived in, as you've said in the first sentence, isn't paying the bills. Is everyone hearing me? The universe that you were in isn't working. So what's cool is it's going to keep not working until you decide to go into the new universe, the Nooniverse. And what do you mean you can't go to a new universe? Do you think you are just the old universe? I hope that didn't sound who do you think you are? But I just mean do you think you are the old universe only? Maybe we need to meditate, because you listen to meditation for a while and it'll go, oh, you just think you're this and you can't get this. But eventually you'll realize I'm this. I hold space for both universes. Right? I'm at a loss for how I stop this universal or this survival cycle, because bills being paid is very real. However, I know that if I don't put time into my passions, this cycle will continue. I'm trying to understand how I meet my goals without losing everything. Any thoughts? Yes. Denise, can we call you? Can we call Denise? Well, let's just give it a shot. If she picks up, that'll answer if we can call her. I'm calling her right now. There's two Denises that have the same logo, the character from Asteroids, or Space Invaders. Am I able to call you? I tried to invite Denise onto the screen. It's not showing me that she picked up. She might not have accepted it. Can we accept you on the screen, Denise? Because the new universe is trying to call you. So pick up if you want it. The new universe is trying. Oh, we got her. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Kyle.
It might be a signal issue. Hi, Denise. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so happy to have you on. Congratulations.
I feel like I won the lottery. I'm so happy to be on.
So did I. You feel so amazing and open-hearted. And I want to, the people on this call and I want to hold space for the possibility of the new universe.
All right.
Does that sound fun?
Wonderful. Yes, right? Thank you.
Yeah. So
my eyes are starting to water, so I'm prematurely starting to cry. I probably will cry. So yeah. I'm just gonna start now.
Well, I'm honored to be with you.
Same here. Thank you.
So let's play with this and see what happens, because I just think you feel so wonderful and your question was so honest, which, by the way, asking that question is a huge deal. Do you realize how many people that are in the survival vibration don't even want to look at if they're doing something or could do something better, and don't want to ask help You know what I'm saying? Like, to just reach out and ask that question, have the courage to ask it, create such a space for all of us. And hopefully we can do something amazing together here and see what's trying to unfold, right? So just in doing that, the second we ask for help or just say, I'm lost, I don't get it, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, then new information can finally show up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you were saying. Like, we're here to expand, and we're here to, leave it all here and then go on to the next. There's stuff that we're supposed to do here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like living your best life. When you truly live your best life, then you leave something for the people around you. You know what I mean? You inspire them to live their best life, and things just get better. It becomes this like force field. And there's the experience of being very separated from that I'm having. And I know everything that you said, I agree with. It's belief systems in my body, from wherever, from what I was taught, from what I learned, from what I saw, from, trying and failing, trying and succeeding, trying and failing, like years and years of that. But it's time. It's time, and I know that I stand in my own way because I hold on to these, like you said, these old beliefs, these old stories, the old suitcases. And when you talked about like needing to please other people, but all of the people like reside within us, that was so true. 100%.
Hell yeah. This is going to flow. Like, I feel you're opening, and this is going to be awesome. So let's play with it. Let's do this. So I want to first of all point out, when you think about surviving, and when you think about I have to pay the bills, and when that comes up in your body, where vibrationally or where in your body do you physically feel it? Like, can we actually find a place in your body where you feel it?
Yeah, I feel it like in my gut, like in my stomach. I feel it in my chest, and then I feel it like in my eyes. It makes me want to cry.
Okay. Now, do you notice, and I want to offer everybody to notice where they feel it, when they think of those thoughts of, yeah, but I have to pay the bills, yeah, but I have these old things, right? Where we feel it. And notice this weird thing, that even though it's painful and annoying, there's something about it that feels familiar and like home. Right? It's almost the same as like addiction to social media, right? Like, there's this part of us that's like dying to stay looking at things, or that's dying to keep up with crap that we know doesn't matter, or the part of us that's really wanting to eat crappy food or do something addictive. It's like, I'm so used to being in my holy shit pain that I actually see it as more home than thriving and freedom and expansion. Like, it actually feels more like home. I don't know if everyone's getting that, but does that resonate for you, Denice? I'm seeing it here. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my identity has kind of, for as long as I can remember, been like, something's wrong. Like, what's wrong? That's kind of how I was raised. Like, oh, there's something wrong with
That's your what? Oh, you cut out a little.
Problem. Sorry, my alarm clock went off.
Oh, no problem. Awesome. So you feel like, oh, that's and then I lost you for a second.
My identity was just like, there's something wrong. Like, my mom kind of, treated things that way. Like, there's something wrong. And I knew very young that I wanted to be some sort of artist. And, the kind of, the dialogue was, well, how are you going to take care of yourself? How are you going to survive? I'm so worried you're not going to be able to survive. And so I think I just chose to buy into that, to buy into like that was real, and that somebody else's fears were not somebody else's fears, but that they were the truth.
What a beautiful thing to start with, because we can all look at different patterns that we don't realize we have. Like I learned from my mom, for instance, even though my mom was amazing, I learned a lot of worst case scenarios about things. Like how if you honk the horn, she saw a story in the paper that that's a way that gang members were finding people to kill. Like if you honked back at them or something. So like if you honk the horn, one time I honked a horn at someone that was about to hit a wall, and she, don't honk, that's how you get killed, right? And then I was at Hoffman one time, and they had me envision a thing, and then asked me, like, he goes, I want you to think about something that happened in your life. And he goes, think of the thing. And I said, a leaf. And he goes, okay, tell me a story in your life that involves a leaf. And I was like, my cabin had trees there. And I remember once I cast the pole and I fell off the dock. And he goes, how did your mother comfort you? And I said, she said, get him out of the water. He has ear tubes. He's going to die. And those ear tubes are $3,000. And he goes, okay, let's go with something else. I want you to meditate again. Think about another thing. And I said, a tire. And he goes, okay, tell me a memory that has a tire. When I got a convertible car. Oh, okay. And how did your mother celebrate with you? She said you're going to get decapitated. Oh, gosh. Okay, cut to like a speed round, like 20 minutes later, and he's just like listing objects, and I'm just like saying the problem with it. Cell phone, testicular cancer, me going to Hawaii. Oh, it was just like everything of what will happen badly, right? So there's this part that showed up in my unconscious thing that showed the worst case scenario. And then I had a dad that built companies out of thin air, but often out of pain. So you feel a fear, and then you build a crazy comedy career to get your mom to like you. You know what I'm saying? Like this crazy thing. So we're often an unconscious collection of our parents' stories or our rejection of our parents' stories, right? So it's very normal for almost all of us to be very familiar with what you're talking, because our parents grew up in an even harder environment in different ways, even though right now really can suck, like there's a lower consciousness from the past that's coming in through our parents, right? So they're telling us how life works based on how it was in the 70s. And then their parents told them how life worked based on the Great Depression. So we're learning from an older consciousness and not open to a newer consciousness. Are you farting rhythmically? I don't know if there was vibrational, sounded like rhythmic farting.
Sorry,
but maybe that wasn't you, because you're okay. Good. All right.
2 messages.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but
yeah. So I just didn't know if you were farting. So yeah. So let's look at this. So there's a consciousness that collects our parents' belief systems, and we can actually find that when you're in your mind and you think about surviving, that you're actually thinking about your parents' thinking. Do you get what I'm saying? Your mom's nervous system is what's actually looking at, I gotta pay the rent. Do you get what I'm saying? You're actually looking at life through the top. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I think what makes me so angry is not, like at this point in my life, it's not that my mom said whatever she said, but that I'm still choosing to be run by it. I think that's what makes me so upset.
Yes.
Because I feel like I have a choice in the matter, but I feel, I guess, beholden to it. Like, it just feels so powerful.
Yeah.
And so in a way, I feel like I'm resigned to, like, I'm just accepting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's what you have up until this minute right now. Because this minute right now might be where we bring a higher awareness and replace your rejection of yourself, your judgment of yourself, your anger about that, to full forgiveness, because there was a reason that you didn't know until right now, right? That there was a reason, there was something that served, your rejection of it. In fact, you judging yourself for not stepping forward probably had a lot of you looking inside of yourself and probably brought up an awareness of all kinds of different things. Are you with me on that? In other words, when you're upset, that's the only time you actually look in yourself. When you finally have a bunch of money, all your circumstances are exactly how you want it, life just becomes focus on the outside and party, right? Hey, we got $1 million. We have the ultimate relationship. Let's go out every night. Let's party. Let's watch movies. And your focus is on the outside. When you're in pain, you are forced to look at the inside. So you are actually creating an awareness to go, why am I doing this? And that was perfect, because all kinds of different things come up when you're in a resistance to yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? So many other things. Well, I've always done this. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's this. So what I'm trying to do is show you that the amount of judgment that you had served a purpose, and it's fine. So I'm making sure that you don't resist that you did that. And if you do resist it, that's also fine. Do you get what I'm saying? But I want you to know that everything's okay. Because we can't move forward until everything's okay. Right? If we keep going, yesterday should have been different, then we're in a new day, resisting yesterday and bringing the pain of yesterday in. And every time we have this opportunity for growth and look at what we should have done yesterday, we stay out of the possibility of growth because we're still in resistance in the new day. So the first thing all of us have to do, no matter what our circumstances are, is allow it to be okay. Can it be okay that you did not know what you didn't know until right now? Can it be okay? And do you forgive yourself fully for everything that you learned from your mom or your dad, everything that you didn't do right, everything that you've done that someone did to you? Can you completely take your past in and say, it's perfect? And if not, that's okay too, because there's information in that. But if you choose to, we can move forward. And I want to offer everybody that. You get more growth from starting with everything's okay. Because if you don't go into everything's okay, then your body has to be at some form of fight or flight. And if it's at fight or flight, it's saying there's an emergency, so we can't evolve until this emergency is taken care of. Now, if we're used to living in fight or flight, we think that's just where we're supposed to live, but it isn't. So what do you feel just by forgiving yourself right now and forgiving everything in this moment? And you only have right now anyway, so there isn't even a past. It's just an addiction.
Yeah, I feel much calmer. Like there's a lack of emergency.
Now,
just like there's space to breathe. Yeah.
Now check this out. There's a lack of an emergency. Now I want you to notice something, and I want everyone to notice this. It feels good. I feel good. And it's almost unfamiliar and scary because there's no problem. Like my mental fixer is out of a job now. Does that show up for you at all? Like, this is unfamiliar. It feels really good and peaceful, but it's almost horrifying because there's nothing wrong and for me to fix. Do you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's unfamiliar, that doesn't mean this isn't your new home. All homes, for real, that are unfamiliar are scary the first minute you're in them. For real, like actual physical houses, when you move to a new area, a new relationship out of an old one, you're in the new universe right now. Right? Now in the new universe, you don't need to look for answers in the same place that you did in the old universe. Okay? So tell me what you feel in your body now. You're in the new universe right now. What do you feel in your body now? We gotta figure out how to know we're in the new universe versus the old one. And notice the addiction to the old one. And we're going to see what happens if we spend some time in the new universe. So what does this universe feel like to you? And I'm asking everyone that too. But how about you, Denice?
I feel like time slows down. So it's
That's
like,
fun.
Yeah, well, like I can actually take things in, I can actually like so before it was like I would be looking around and looking at things and staring at things and checking things out and just kind of studying them, but almost not really seeing them. And now I feel like things have slowed down to where I can actually like take them in and see them. Does that make any sense?
Completely. So if time slows down, which it totally does in a certain way when you're in this, because it's almost like when we're in our head, we don't pay attention to time, but it almost entertains us enough, even if it's negative, to just let time go right by. So you're going to discover when time slows down, or seems like it slows down, that you can do a lot more stuff in one day. Like in the Matrix, time slows down and they can dodge bullets, right? So in this, time slows down. And what one person who's conscious and aware and in the new universe can do in one day is so much more than someone who's living in their head in the old universe. So the different ways that could show up gently when you're in this vibration could be multiple things. And like what the people were saying at the beginning, you're going to do a documentary in 2 weeks. It's easy when you're in this vibration. It's much easier from this vibration. If you're in the vibration of constant panic and fixing, then time is very different. And the everyday weirdly keeps repeating itself because you're not evolving out of the grade you were in, because you're staying addicted and in your head to the old story. So,
and you're playing catch up.
Yes.
It's like you're trying to catch up to yourself.
Right. So what is interesting is now you're just here. And this new universe is a place that we want to aim for more than surviving, right? So instead of just our focus being on the rent, what if your focus, instead of on an external thing like paying the rent or paying, is to in an internal thing? What if it was more of a desire for you to aim for getting into this peaceful place than it was a desire to survive, right? And would the rent get paid faster and easier from this place because now you kind of slowed down time and can do more in a shorter amount of time?
And you're also aligned. You're in alignment, so things are just like vibrationally, they're all coming together and working out. You know, like serendipity is happening. You're not fighting against, because when you're like trying to play catch up and you're just kind of trying to catch up to yourself, it's like everything is kind of off.
Right.
But when you're in this, like when things slow down and there's space, because I think my biggest like complaint was that like there's no space, like I can't even breathe.
Yes.
And now it's just like I feel all of this space, and now there's the room for the alignment and the serendipity and the things coming together. There's the space, like the breathing space. So absolutely, yeah, like that's and the funny thing is that like, so I would start off being like, okay, an hour of meditation, and I would be pretty good about that. And then I'd give myself over more and more to like the need to survive. So I'd be working until really late and then falling asleep and waking up and, oh, I got to go back out and work. And then the meditation would go away. So then I'd get more deeply into the survival. But it's like, no, just be here with you right now and trust this space, because I can actually feel it, like it's tangible. Trust this space. The space has you. If you give yourself over to this space, you will be taken care of. You will experience whatever side you decide to give yourself to. If you give yourself over to the space will give back to you. If you give yourself over to like the emergency, it's frantic, you got to catch up, that will give back to you too. Like, it's so weird. Like, literally, I'm telling you, Kyle, like, everything slowed down. It's making me think of, like, I saw this movie years ago. I think it was about Jackie Robinson, and his mentor was telling him, like, when the ball comes to you and you have to hit it, make time slow down, like literally slow time down so you can see that ball. And he used that technique, and he was this great, obviously, great baseball player. But it's like, I feel like things went halftime. It's the weirdest thing. I think I did step into another universe. It's so weird. Everything looks different to me right now. How did you do that?
I'm really good at this shit. No. So
I don't know how that happened.
So first of all,
literally looks different.
I just want to reflect to you, first of all, that everyone is shocked right now, that the comments that are coming through are you're shifting us, right? Now, let me just tell you a couple things, and this is something for all of you to see. As an employer and someone who's co-creating with people, one of the things I've discovered is even though there are more people than ever on the planet, so many people are so hypnotized by the old universe that as an employer, Dan and I and Carrie have commented on how hard it is to find just someone who's in an alignment that can do the job. And we have people on our team that are nailing it, but it's absolutely funny how there's millions of people and there's so few people that are just living in the space of this universe, of an alignment with the body that can hold a space of love. And I'm saying this for all of you to understand that often when people apply for us, you can feel the old universe vibration, you can feel the need, you can feel the fear. And it's also like, I've discovered that finding an actual, this sounds so weird, but finding an actual good restaurant that like will serve organic and healthy food and weirdly like serve it within a reasonable amount of time and be nice, you get one of the three. They either serve amazing food, but you got to wait a week. They serve it really quickly, but the food sucks, right? And it's like so funny because there's thousands of restaurants and I've just been in Seattle going, I can't find one that like can meet my like three main needs. Like it's really weird. And there's thousands of restaurants and there's also thousands and millions of people. Now I want to reflect to you how rare a person in the universe you are in is and how many employers, incredible co-creators, and whatever else would be desiring to offer bigger chunks of money to someone in this vibrational state. It's almost impossible to find. And there's a quote that Lisa Nichols said, and that's, there's plenty of room at the top. Most people are addicted to mediocrity. At the top, at you really, really, really at your highest, truest vibration, which you're in right now. Like, as you're saying this, I'm already like, Carrie, do we have any openings? Because like, you're awesome. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just like, you're so cool. And what you offered was a space of vibrational love that would expand a business. Anyone on here who's a good employer should consider, or you should be considering coaching, because what you just described about slowing time down, I've never heard before. There's a book there. If you're living it and offering that, there's a book there. There's a book I'd want to take to a publisher. There's actual, that what you just said, and you'd have to write from that universe, right? You'd have to, it's life is going, this is when you can't see what you'll lose when you let go of the surviving, pay the rent vibration. I'm sorry, you can see what you'll lose. You can't see what you'll gain. You don't know what this universe is offering. And if you decide to stay in it for more than a few weeks and really live it, and maybe actually be willing to let the old universe fall apart, maybe a month of no rent will go by. So the old story, but a freedom and a you and something different unfolds. So then the next step is to ask yourself, what do you have in your life that fuels the old universe, and what can you replace it with that fuels the new universe? Do you have thoughts on that? Is there anything in your life that you've been bringing in that feeds the old universe that we no longer want? And is there anything that you could do, or I'm getting giddy about this because this is so awesome, that you could do to feed the new universe, the Nooniverse?
Yeah, I mean, I think I take dance classes and I write, and those things, like I love doing, was the way that I was doing them, like on, you know, the need to survive by doing those things. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm an artist.
Yes.
I act and I write and I dance. I take dance classes, and those feel like freedom to me. But it was like I was dipping away to do those things. I was cheating on my survival. So I was cheating on my survival job to go do those things.
Right.
Feeling, I guess, like I didn't really deserve to do those things.
And if you lose your survival... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, those things are who I am. Those things are who I am.
If you lose your survival, do you think there's a part of you that's scared you'd lose your connection to your mom?
I think that there's a part of me that's scared that I would lose who I believed that I was.
Yes.
My connection to myself. Lose my connection to myself. All those times you've said, if we think that we are this thing and this thing changes, then we think that we die.
Right.
So I think it's been more of a fear of losing my identity. Whether it's been a good identity or a not so good identity, it's still been a very strong identity. But it's like, now I'm like, oh, I got stuff to do. And you know what's so funny, Kyle? Like, so I have my like survival job. I've been working 2 jobs, but my survival job is like I do deliveries, you know, like for, you know, food, like Grubhub and DoorDash and stuff. And it's like whenever I deliver to someone, I always like try to crack a joke or something, because that need to connect is so strong. And I'm not plotting and planning it like, I'm going to say this, but it's just like, I feel it. It's like this need to connect with the person. And that's like my spirit wants to be out here doing something. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely like, I feel like the gift is that like the road and the things that feel good are already laid out. They're already there, but it's just how I was looking at them. Like, do I really deserve to do these things that bring me so much joy? Do I really deserve to get up in front of people and do these things? Who do I think I am?
And that
you think you're such a hotshot.
Those are great ways to keep the survival story alive, right? It would be death to the survival story for you to do something incredible, right? So every part of you that thinks you're the survival story, or that's a way to connect to a parent, or that's who I used to be, or whatever it is going to be horrified, right? Of you becoming what you truly are. And what's fascinating is the thing that's scared is not what you truly are. It's just a habit we've lived in. What you truly are is so magical and right here, right? What you truly are, you go do. And if a voice comes in and goes, who do you think you are? Your answer is, we'll find out, won't we? I'm going to do it. And when the survival story kicks in, we hear it, but we don't cater to it, right? There's a difference, right? It says, I don't think I'm somebody to go speak on a stage. I hear you, and you be there for that fear, and I love you, and we're still going to go speak on the stage, right? We don't go, oh, you're right. And then the second we cater to the survivor story, we identify as the survivor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just got some insight from listening to you. That's how I stayed safe.
Mm.
Was by being a survivor, because then I'm not a target.
Ah, yeah, being a target's really fun. And it's, you know what being a target is for? It's here to make you transcend your need to be loved by the public so you can do your shit even better. Like, I have it too. Sometimes I'm a target, right? That shows up. But the reason we become a target to people is to get us so good at what we do that we don't even notice what they think is a thing. And it's what our connection to source is in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And it was at home though. I mean, like a target at home. Like if I was not the one to be concerned about, then I was not safe. If I was shining, then I was not safe. So it was safer to be small. So that's the identity that I have chosen to stay safe. So it's been about staying safe. And
isn't it ironic that it wasn't safe? Oh, sorry. I think your thing cut out.
Sorry.
It cut out when
Can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah. I said, isn't it ironic that in staying safe by playing it small, you're totally not feeling safe. You're literally saying words like "I'm trying to survive," which means you're not safe. You don't try to survive in a safe place. It's finally when I'm safe that I'm always surviving, of course, right? So isn't it ironic that the voice that stops you from stepping into your greatness so that you can be safe is actually killing us? It's the most dangerous voice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our egos are trying to kill us. Our egos are the one that say, eat that extra cake. Our egos are the one that says, ruin this thing. Our egos say, stay small, sabotage. Right? You are welcome to be fully you. You are welcome to be amazing. And yeah, there's going to be some people that will make you a target, and there will be some people who are inspired by you and say you changed their lives, and they'll send you letters and say you saved my life and all kinds of other amazing things. And you'll go, I'd rather live fully and create change and be free and actually be safe. Ironically, be safe. Even when you're a target, you're weirdly more safe. You start to get divinely protected. Everything that's coming up is coming up to be transcended. So let's say you are a target and you feel triggered by the crap you're getting from people. That's to bring a level of love to that. I'm going to even love you while you shit on me. Now you're a universal person, right? You're amazing, Denice. I'm so honored I got to meet you tonight.
Me too. Thank you.
And I want to offer.
You too.
And I don't know what your next steps are. It might be to just spend a few days in the new universe and listen for a while. You know, and go back and forth as the morning of the survivor comes up and out, or I don't know, maybe new possibilities. You might know that. It doesn't necessarily have to be, so quit all your jobs now. You could be, but it doesn't have to be. It could, like, you could bring this energy still into your work and still be in the truer, or you can let go of one thing and create more space for you. You gotta do the meditation if that is something that can help you to be in the new universe. But you're and remember, by the way, the new universe is expansive, not higher or different than the old universe. So what I mean by it's expansive, the new universe holds space for the old universe. So the old universe can show up in the new universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In other words, we don't go, I thought I was out of the old universe. So we judge the old universe and try to get in the new one. We are the new universe, and it loves and holds space for the old lingering stories that are going to come up so they can leave. The new universe is a bigger, more expanded version, and it still loves the old universe. So we don't try to judge. There's less judgment in here of the old universe. Love for it, and love for everyone else who we perceive as living in the old universe, and not trying to get them into the new universe. We just are going to be the embodiment of the new universe. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
And the reason you were able to receive it was, in a way, your body already had the capacity to receive the new universe. It was already kind of there. That's what was the part of you that asked the question and could see beyond the survival story, right? Mm. So you're already connected to the newer universe. You were just addicted to the old one.
Yes.
And didn't have quite the awareness or the information that the same child would have about the candy versus $100 bill I was talking about. You didn't have the information that you're already connected to that new universe. So it's not something that you shift to. It's just something you receive or accept. Mm-hmm. Does that feel good?
Yeah.
What area do you live in?
Yeah. I live in Mid-City. In LA.
You're in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we definitely need your information.
Yeah.
Because we think you're awesome.
Oh, I mean, thank you. You guys are incredible. Like, incredible.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. It's such an honor to be in this community. Really.
It's an honor to be with you. Your heart is so big.
You too. Thank you.
Is there anything?
I mean,
go ahead.
You've inspired me for forever. I mean, you're just really so inspiring. So inspiring. I'm so glad you're here. We all are.
We so should talk about putting this in the movie. Parts of it. Like, it's just showing up for me as I'm creating 5 projects at the same time. But if we can pull a couple clips from this, it's so good, you guys. Mm-hmm. Denice, if we happen to want to use any of this for a movie, could we have your permission? Would that be okay?
Of course.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because there might be a clip or two here, because you just answered something that might show up in the documentary about shifting to out of the survival and into thrival. I mean, it's just shifting your aim. The aim shifts from surviving and paying rent to living in the new universe, mm-hmm. which you have way more control over, right? Mm-hmm. So you just go, I'm just living in the new universe. Let's see what a month of the new universe does. Mm-hmm. Right? What would a month do of this versus a month of staying in a lower vibration, aiming for barely getting the rent paid, versus being in this, right? Mm-hmm. What will just have to come to you? Every old story that leaves and is cried out, and I saw several tears come out of your amazing eyes, all the old stories that leave, there's a space that opens up. And the universe has to fill every space. So if we stay in the old survival story, then we fill it with another survival story. But if we keep a presence and wait, it's suddenly filled with a higher level of abundance. It's suddenly filled with more possibilities. It's filled with so many amazing things. So you're creating a vortex, a space for greatness to show up for you by being on this higher dimension.
What do you? So great. I
No,
just have so much gratitude, so much gratitude, so much gratitude that you're here, so much gratitude that this community is here. You know, because when you were saying just trying to find a good restaurant in Seattle, you know, that meets your needs, or trying to connect with people, you know, who are in the new universe, it's like, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the people here and the commitment that people have and what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
This changes the world, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here. To leave it all here. It's tangible. It's like, I'm just so grateful. So, like, so much respect for your commitment and the commitment of the people in this community to love and to inspire and to grow. That's why we're here. And the other world is like a fear that that's not possible, but in this world you can see that it actually is, that it's here. It's like simple, but it's a whole other, I don't know how, but it's a whole, it looks different, but it looks the same. I don't know how to describe it. I'm so grateful to you. It just looks different, but it looks the same. I don't know.
What?
How does that happen?
So we have another person on this planet right now who's opening and moving into what we've defined in this episode as the new universe.
Mm-hmm.
But he was holding the space of true love and consciousness and seeing something so much bigger than surviving. Now, you'd think that this call originally was, so how do I still get money and be in the highest me? And now we're not even thinking about that. It's like we're suddenly realizing like a reason we're on this planet. How many of us need what you're embodying, right? How much is the universe ready for people to start popping into this place?
Yeah.